So here's the finished product, and it's absolutely delicious. That is the triangles are the pork jerky. That is the straight beef jerky right there. This one is the pork and beef jerky mixed, and also in the bowl, up the back of that bowl, are all the beef and pork strips as well. Now let's start from the beginning and see how we get here. Okay, so I've made the biltong, the ground beef biltong, and we're now going to see what it's like. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you the unit and turn it on. I've got to check time and temp, and then I'll be back. So let me show you my dehydrator. There it is there. And here are 3 slices. So you put a tray, not slices, trays in there like that. So I've just cleaned them just for the sake of it, and that's why you can see a bit of water. There's no point in having to dry it because you're going to put it in a dehydrator. So they're the trays. All right, now we're going to mix up some mince. All right, so this one is 17% fat pork. This one is 18% fat beef. All right, and I'm actually going to, you know what, actually I'm interested to see what they each taste like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I want to do pork and beef, right? That's there. I'm going to do this much beef, and then I'm going to do, I just want to do a couple that are just pork. Well, that's right. All right. Let me season. There's really nothing else going on here except mincemeat. All right, that's done. I'm going to put that in here. Because I'm going to make them all at once. This, just a tiny bit of seasoning. Okay, I'm just getting creative, because I have somewhere to put everything. That's fine. Now, all right. I'm just going to turn the light on. Okay, that looks so much better now that we've got some light. All right, so I've sped this up really fast, and I'm just going to go through the process. This first tray has got just the straight beef. I did end up putting extra seasoning on that, and you can really tell in the end result that's actually, I think they all could have done with more seasoning. They're very delicious though, all 3 of them. So this is just the plain beef. Tune in at the end to hear which is the favourite of mine, and which is the favourite of my hubs. The sun was full, so he didn't have any yet, but probably tomorrow. Now this is the pork. I actually have got plans for this pork. This turned out well. I'm using an offset spatula to try and get it an even thickness all the way through. Now this tray is the mixture of beef and pork. And so I'm going to go about filling in all the gaps. I have made many raw crackers in my dehydrators because I've had a few of them over the years. And so I do understand the dynamics of this is very similar. So flattening it out and making sure you've got an even thickness is going to mean it will dry evenly. Otherwise you'll end up with spots, right? I like my edges to be neat and tidy, so what you're seeing here is me filling in all the gaps. And I didn't end up seasoning this, but I am going to show you that the other trick that I always did with my crackers is to score the mixture in whatever size you want the end product to be in. So I've just gone actually to get the steel ruler because the long knife that I used to use for my crackers, I don't have it anymore. So let's use this steel ruler. I'll show you. It's just so that it's a non-sharp edge. That's all. And it's going to go through, and I'm just going to make sizes. And then I thought I'd make a few different shapes. And so that's really all that's happening here. I ended up getting 45 pieces altogether, and there are various sizes, but 45 pieces of jerky, which is amazing. So that one you can see I actually put more seasoning on that, and it is very delicious. Okay, so 9 hours on 68 degrees Celsius, and I'm just speeding this up. I'm just going to show you the bottom shelf are the Teflex sheets, which I do move up to just underneath. There's 9 shelves. So that's the beef and pork, and that's the beef pork mix. And underneath I just wanted to show you the texture, which ended up being a bit of a fail. I won't do that again, push it into the grid. No. Alright, so there's 6 hours left. It's been going for 3 hours at this point. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like at the 3 hour mark. So you can see it's not anywhere near done yet. I am going to try lean mince next time. And I've got some very good ideas after this. And you can see it's not coming away. Yeah, I've realized that it's not helpful to push it into the grid because the grid is so small. It really held on to the beef, and I thought it would give me a pretty pattern, but no. So now we're halfway through, and this is the 5 hour mark, and I check the pork at this point. This is the point at which I do decide to get the pork out, but you can see that the beef still has a long way to go. Now I start having a look at it to see if I can get it off and how connected it is. That was getting so dry that I thought, you know what, I'm going to need to rip it off, rip the band-aid off. You can see how it's dried into the grid, which is why I'm not doing that again. So yeah, it's very hard one-handed, but I tried to just sort of show you what I'm doing here with my spatula is just, that's quite a firm spatula, which is useful. And then here too, just this is the beef and pork mix. I'm just going around, I go around all the edges because they are more dehydrated, right? More dried. And there's obviously, I think you can almost see the parts of the meat where it's not as dried. So this is, I did a bit of work and then I videoed it just to show you that's sort of where it's at halfway through. And then I'm just showing you now that I'm getting this pork out of the dehydrator because it's just going to end up as crumbles if I don't get it out now. So those pieces ended up being 5 grams each of the pork. They were the lightest, thinnest pieces. The beef there next to it ended up being about 20 grams each, and they were awesome. I love the pork. I've actually could make bread out of it. Now the scissors aren't the sharp part of the scissors is not touching that mesh at all. It's only really touching the meat. Again here, I'm not digging into the mesh. I'm running the bottom of my scissors flat against the tray. I've just, at this point, I've realised it's not going to dry. It's going to take forever if I do not create some individual pieces. So this is me quickly going through and disconnecting as much as I can the jerky from. And off camera, I do go back in and turn it all upside down, just so you know. And then now I'm just showing you that it's back in its little bed. Put the lid back on. The timer's still going. There, the pork out at the 5-hour mark. Alright, this is so many hours later. I turned it all over. Now, let me show you. See how it's bendy? That's how I want it. It's still fatty, but that's okay. I've got my trusty tea towel here. Alright, let me... I turned this over as well and you can see it's pretty good. Alright, gonna try some. Wow! Wow. This is the beef. Okay. So I'm just saying how great the beef is, and you know what? I have to learn how to eat while the camera's going, so I decided to just mute this section because there's just a lot of chewing and such. Very mild. You just get the pork at the end, but it's not porky at all. It's like, it's just mild. Whereas the beef is very, it's salty, not too salty. It's seasoned well. It's soft enough. I can't stand that jerky that is so crunchy and hurts your teeth. And now, let's go for one of these. This is the beef and pork. Someone in the Facebook group said, are you calling it pork or beef? And I said, no. My grown-up children would disown me if I called it that. Either of those. Okay. It's not as beefy as this one. I really like this. I did not think I would, honestly. But this might be my favourite. This is a milder beefy one, beef and pork mix. And the pork is just going to be really, it's a lot drier because it was a lot more moist, the mixture, and I made it a lot thinner. So one of the things about this whole process is learning the thickness of the meat to the temperature and the time that you dry on. So it will depend on your machine. And again, I've only cooked biltong in this once before, years and years ago, and it was steak that I thinly sliced and marinated. So it's been a long time, and this went for, I'll check the time, but I think it was 6 or 7 hours this has been dehydrating for, which is a long time. This I took off. This was about 5 hours. These were, I think, 7 hours. I will check that. I'll double check that. These. So, yeah. We've got the beef and pork, and we've got the pork. And that's a very big win, and I am definitely making more of this.